A smart city knows everything about you. All of your movements, where you are, who your friends are, who you're talking to, where you're going. The only other structure that I know that has that design is a panopticon. And that's a prison.
Where did it all start, this modern concept of the smart city?
I think the real excitement really started around 2008 because after the financial crisis, big corporations stopped spending money on technology. They were trying to save money to wait out this crash and see what was going to happen. And so big technology companies like IBM and Cisco and Siemens had to find a market. And so they looked to governments and realized that the same technology that they had been selling to DHL and Walmart might also be good for running a large city.
For new companies, the city offers an immense opportunity. When one looks at the size of the smart city market, you can see some very large numbers out there. Clearly, if one includes the development of new roads and new houses and new offices, particularly in the developing world, then you can easily run into trillions of dollars of investment. But even when we just look at smart technologies, the use of smart devices, new networks and IT, we, for example, estimate that around $175 billion will be invested over the next decade in those new technologies to support smart cities.
Well, we're talking about a smart city, so maybe an important fundamental question is, who's getting smarter? Who owns and controls the information that's being gleaned from these cities? Think about what a smart city is. A smart city is a city that knows everything about you, right? Every move that you make, everywhere you go, it knows. People already do this on Facebook. People already know that what they're saying is to some degree being watched. So they don't say everything they want to say. And what does that mean if the only means by which we can communicate has that chilling effect? What does that mean for democracy? When you use Facebook, before you can use Facebook, you agree to their terms and conditions. And the terms and conditions are what outline your rights. You don't have any free speech rights on Facebook other than the rights that Facebook Incorporated gives you. You have no rights on Google. You have no rights on Instagram, on Snapchat, on any of these Silicon Valley properties, apart from the ones that the corporations that make them give you. And it's all in the terms and conditions. So if we build our cities this way, what are going to be the terms and conditions of living in your city? And what will it mean if you say, I opt out? Right? Opting out of Facebook is one thing. What will it look like to try and opt out of the terms and conditions of the city that you live in? If the municipality is not paying Google for this service, why is Google doing it? Is Google a charity? Is Google a philanthropic enterprise? No. They are a for-profit multinational corporation, publicly traded, with a responsibility to their shareholders to provide quarter-on-quarter profit growth. If they don't do that, they could be held legally liable. So what is Google getting out of this in terms of value? We know what value the municipality is getting out of it, and perhaps the users are getting out of it. But what's the value that Google is getting out of it? They're not doing this because of the goodness of their hearts. So they say that they are sharing anonymized license plates, right? Anonymization is not a thing. If you anonymize one data set, and then you have another data set with common markers, you can de-anonymize the first data set. In fact, there are whole companies whose business it is to do this. They buy anonymized data, right? And then they combine it with other data sets and they de-anonymize it. So the person selling the anonymized data says, hey, we anonymized it, it's not our fault. But that's quite a naive statement to make, especially since we know that it's just not true. Data anonymization is a difficult, if not impossible, problem to solve. Google has many other data sets. They would be able to de-anonymize those license plate numbers at the drop of a hat.
Ja, dus jij bent er overtuigd dat de data die jullie delen met een partij als Google, dat die niet gede-anonymiseerd kan worden?
Ik ben ervan overtuigd dat de data die wij delen op een dusdanig aggregatieniveau is dat het, ik me niet kan voorstellen op dit moment, en ik kan me echt heel veel voorstellen, dat het te herleiden is. Ook door de manier waarop we het ontsluiten en de manier waarop we delen.
So when people in government tell you, hey, it's okay, we're sharing your data, but we know what we're doing, there's strict limits, they don't know what they're talking about. They are parroting back what the corporations have told them. A lot of times, well, yeah, let's keep going, because I don't want to reveal too much about internal stuff that I know about this. But a lot of
You can
politicians...
give examples. Yeah, you know the boundaries of what you can say, but it's...
Let's go on. Maybe I'll come back to it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just, it is infuriating. It really is. To hear governments talk about this issue as if they have some clue about it, because everything that I've seen runs to the contrary. Governments and policymakers are being told by these corporations what they should be thinking. They don't have the technical knowledge. How many people in government, in your local municipality, have the technical knowledge to truly understand the ramifications of having your data in the hands of these corporations?
Data is the dark matter of this whole market. The efficiencies that are being promised to cities, the new services that can be offered, the new revenue streams, are largely based on the idea that there will be a vast amount of new data, so-called big data, available to city leaders, to new service providers. And it'll be the exploitation of that data that delivers the new efficiencies, but also the new revenue models. So it is about building a data-rich, data-focused city.
What we have here, which is a set of sensors that they can basically collect data about your environment and publish it online. So here we have like temperature, humidity, noise. We even offer like CO2 and NO2 trends, and NO2 trends, and we send it over the internet. So by understanding all these values and by having on an easy way to display them, we can start triggering these ideas into people about what data means, how they can use it, and why it's valuable and why it's not.
This is an example of a bottom-up approach because we are, first of all, using open source technologies that people can appropriate, that do not have proprietary rights and so on. But we're also addressing the citizen directly, providing tools for the citizen so that they can gather the data and make decisions on how they can live in their cities or what problems need to be taken care of. For example, this is a casing of Smart Citizen. This is an open source design. You can download the data to produce this at any makerspace or with any 3D printer. So we're not just creating technologies, but also an ecosystem of tools that are open source and that people anywhere in the world who want to take action in their cities can appropriate and develop in their own terms. And that's why I'm so interested in this idea of data as commons. It's not private, it's not public, it's a universal resource. And therefore, when you have a commons, that implies that those who contribute are part of the processes of governance, deciding how we deal with this resource. What are the rewards? What are the incentives? Who can use this and for what? And so I think that we need to start understanding the value of data and involving citizens in discussions around the governance of this data, rather than just leaving it all in hands of those who can have the means to collect the data.
There isn't going to be one single smart city, you know, the city in the sky with technology gleaming and all the data collected in a perfect way. We're going to see cities continuing to be very messy places, multiple types of solution, multiple approaches, different parts of the city operating in different ways. Cities will continue to be places where life comes in and which we shape them according to our needs. So the data will adds another element to our picture of the city, but it will be as complex and dirty as ever in many ways, and cities will shape their own future based on how they and their citizens want to adapt to this new future.